So here we got the third wine in our single varietal red range, and this is from an unusual and slightly mysterious grape called Mourvèdre. There's lots of different ways of pronouncing this, and there are lots of different synonyms for the grape, one being Matara, another one being Mourvèdre, and another one being Monastrell. And so it has different characters depending on where it's planted in the world. Traditionally it comes from the south of France or the kind of eastern coast of Spain, and from there it eventually ended up, I think, in Australia, and then slowly found its way to South Africa. And there's relatively small plantings in South Africa of the varietal, and it's pretty much misunderstood or not understood as a grape. And I know that a lot of my fellow winemakers have struggled with it, but we've kind of managed to tame the beast, I think, slightly. It's a fascinating grape that is meant to grow in kind of windy climates close to the ocean, with where it gets battered quite hard. It's quite a hardy grape. It can handle that kind of condition, and the old French saying is that Mourvèdre needs to be planted with its head in the sun, its feet in cool soils, and needs a view of the sea. So here in Bot River is pretty much the perfect description of where we're at. We're 10 kilometers from the sea, so we have a great influence of the ocean. We have lots of wind, and we've got a nice amount of sunshine, and we've got beautiful clay soils that the roots can kind of get themselves stuck into and keep them going through the heat of the summer. And so I make Mourvèdre as a single varietal. It's something we've been doing since 1999, and we were one of the first producers of the single varietal, or bottlings of the single varietal. Since then, made at least 1 barrel a year, sometimes more. I think we're producing about 8 at the moment, and so it's a very limited production, about 2,500 bottles, and it's a very unique expression of the varietal. You can't really compare it to other parts of the world, and that's because the climate is different, and probably the way that I make the wine is slightly different, and the expression of what we get out of it here in Bot River is always going to be a bit different. But the winemaking is pretty straightforward. We ferment in the concrete fermenters completely naturally, so not adding any cultured yeast, and it spends a bit of time in there, and then I keep it on the skins for a little bit longer. I sometimes do about 30% whole bunch, so just to add a little bit of the stalk tannin and give it another dimension of flavor. And we then press it off and age it for at least 24 months in barrel. And once it's done its maturation, then it goes to bottle, and we'll spend at least a year in bottle to mature. And that's really important, because I think the wine needs that time. It needs time to kind of come together and to find that kind of sweet harmony between the fruit and the tannin structure, which is not like other grape varieties. It's not as tannic in the way that Cabernet or Pinotage are. Mourvèdre has a very fine, powdery tannin that has been described as the texture of chicken breast. So it's that kind of dried out tannin that kind of coats the inside of your mouth, especially the top of the palate and the bottom of the palate, and doesn't really hit hard at the back. It's a really beautiful varietal, and that's one of the characteristics that I really enjoy. It doesn't have a lot of fruit expression, so it's not a fruity grape. It tends to have a more herbal, slightly leafy character, which I also find charming. So if you're looking for fruit bomb, then Mourvèdre is not going to be your varietal. But I think if you're looking for something with a bit more subtlety and elegance and kind of spicy flavors, Mourvèdre is a great varietal to try. It's a really tough one to pronounce. It's a great varietal to use on a first date. You know, you go out and invite somebody out for your first date, and you choose a bottle of Mourvèdre, and then you practice, like how to pronounce it. It keeps the conversation going for a long time. So look out for Beaumont Mouvèrdre out there. It's in limited amounts, so it's not found all over, but it's really worthwhile finding and trying out when you get it. Okay, cheers.